Welcome back to Round the Cauldron, where we talk theology, philosophy, and everyday life as a modern witch. This week we're back with another episode where we talk about tips for witches in the broom closet. If you're ready to hop into the show, grab some coffee, pull up a seat, and join me around the cauldron. So some announcements first. The first announcement is that the winner of the giveaway did end up contacting me, so yay, I can get the giveaway prizes sent out to Hannah. Congratulations again, Hannah. The next announcement that I have is that next week there will not be an episode. So for those watching on YouTube, that would be next Thursday. There would be no live stream. Off the top of my head, I don't know what date that is. The 24th, September 24th, there will not be a live stream. Podcast listeners, there will not be a podcast episode September 28th. We finally got the information of when we need to go back home for the funeral services. So we actually leave on this Saturday. So that's that. There will not be an episode next week. There should still be a video, because I've already got one pre-scheduled, but I don't know if there's going to be like another one. Anyway, yeah. I don't know exactly how that's going to work right now, but I'm not going to stress myself out trying to upload content and make content when I have to be on a plane in less than 48 hours. So that's that. Hi, Leonora. Okay, so those are the announcements. Then I need to give a shout out to my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you so much for your support and just being generally awesome. Every time I do that, I don't know if I ever forget anyone. So thank you, Jess, Rose, Renee, Holly, Blue, Hillary, Angie, Bonnie, Lee, Leeli, and Magical Crafting. That's everybody. I counted. So again, thank you so much for your support there. If you'd like to help support the podcast and the YouTube channel and all the stuff in between, you can go to patreon.com/roundthecauldron and get exclusive patron-only content as well as chances to vote on the next topic. And today's topic is one that was actually voted on. We're going to be talking about practicing witchcraft when you're in the broom closet, so to speak. We called it sneaky witchcraft. How to be a sneaky witch. So for anyone that doesn't know or who's not familiar with the term, a witch that's still in the broom closet is essentially a witch that is not out with their witchcraft. They don't tell family or friends, or they just keep their practice a secret for one reason or another. That's totally a personal decision, and it's all going to be subjective. So that's that. And sometimes, we need to be able to practice our witchcraft in private. Part of it comes down to to know, to will, to dare, to keep silent. Something that I learned a really long time ago. And for me, the to keep silent part plays a lot of roles. Sometimes it is to know when you need to, back off and just listen and to keep your mouth shut. And then the other part of it is that not everyone needs to know what's going on with your witchcraft or in your life. So I have kind of learned how to keep parts of my practice very personal. But you can also use that in terms of keeping your magic or your witchcraft or even your paganism. Some of these things can apply if you are a pagan and not necessarily a witch. Keeping it secret, keeping it to yourself and not letting anyone else know. And for some people, they need to keep their practice private due to family or work or either family or work, or just the general area in which they live. So I wanted to go over a couple of different tips that I have for practicing in incognito, being sneaky about your witchcraft, or just keeping it secret for one reason or another. The first tip I have is altar or home decorations. We live in a day and age where it's not uncommon to decorate your house just because. And it just so happens that the majority of pagan festivals, regardless of your specific tradition or pantheon, tend to coincide with the changing of the seasons. So you have Yule, or winter solstice, coincides with Christmas typically. And you have like I can't talk today. The autumn equinox, Mabon, if that's what you call it, coming up. And it sort of coincides with Thanksgiving, but it's also a time when all of the fall decorations are coming out. So it wouldn't be uncommon to see fall decorations in someone's house right now. But you don't need to tell people why you're decorating. And 9 times out of 10, they're not going to ask. They're going to be like, oh, you're decorating for fall. That's so pretty. That's so cool. The easiest one by far to do is Samhain, because that's extremely popular. Almost everybody celebrates Samhain in one form or another. And nobody's going to bat an eye if you're picking up hordes of black tea light candles because the only time you can find them is Halloween. Nobody's going to look at you sideways for putting them all in your shopping cart. No, I'm not speaking from personal experience. But you can pick a surface in your home, decorate it with seasonal items that coincide with different pagan festivals, or even if you're doing a little bit of witchcraft, a little bit of decoration, some candles, some incense goes a long way to looking pretty and serving a practical purpose because it looks pretty and it smells good, but also aiding you in whatever witchcraft or spell work that you're doing. Let's see. The next one that I have follows that is candles and incense. You can get candles almost anywhere, and no one is going to look at you twice for buying a candle, whereas it might be different if you're buying like a crystal ball or a pentacle or some other thing like that that has sort of those witchy connotations. But you can spread candles and incense all throughout your house, and candle magic is one of the easiest forms of spell work to do, and it doesn't require hardly any tools except for candles, your ability to manipulate energy, and your intention. That's it. So candles and incense can be kept everywhere throughout your house typically. This can get a little tricky if you are, for example, a college student and you live in a dorm. I'm not sure how that's going right now with COVID, but you can use instead like an electric wax burner. Same thing, you're still using that energy of fire because you're warming something up and the wax is melting, disseminating the smell. I don't know if you can use electric wax burners in a college dorm. Honestly, I've never lived in a college dorm. I have no idea. But that it falls along the same lines. And at the end, I'll talk about something else, one of my other tips that'll play into all of these that I'm talking about right now. But the next tip that I have is to make use of your crystals, your rocks, your stones, and your minerals, because they're pretty objects. They are used for decoration a lot. And if you do a lot of energy work or you work heavily with the land and the world around you, then using your minerals and your stones to your advantage will be easy if you just simply keep them around for quote unquote decoration, right? In my home, well, everyone in my home knows, but if they didn't, it wouldn't be uncommon to see me put like a chunk of clear quartz in the corner of the living room or in the windowsill, and the excuse could be, oh, it's pretty, it reflects the light. but it serves another purpose. Also, if you have a fireplace, you can do a lot of your spell work in the fireplace. You can, tuck in petition papers or intentions and stuff that you have written down on paper in with your firewood. Oftentimes, no one is going to go digging through the ashes that are left in a fireplace, as long as there are ashes left in a fireplace. I don't know anybody's personal situation. But using your fireplace for burning papers and herbs and different things like that is an option if you don't have any other options, right? If you don't have a cauldron, if you don't have a fire pit outside, use your fireplace. Let's see. The next one that I have written down on my notes here is prayer. Now, for me, prayer is a little different than spell work because I am a witch, but I am also an Irish pagan. So when I pray, I'm not doing spell work. I'm not necessarily manipulating energy. I'm not, asking the universe for anything. I'm speaking directly with, normally it's Bridget. But prayer for me is typically a communication between myself and any other higher being. But you can use prayer, or you can use the excuse of prayer, is how I guess I should word this. If you need to bless your food, for example, you can use the excuse of prayer and, bow your head and unknowingly, I guess, manipulate the energy around you and throw your intention out into the world with prayer. You can also use prayer as an excuse for doing affirmations and different styles of journaling. And for me, those play a big part in my witchcraft anyway. Leonora said that for college dorms on campus, often there are rules against electric hot plates. People use them anyways, but you can get in trouble if you get caught. Thank you for the clarification, Leonora. Even when I was in college, I didn't stay in the dorm. I did online college, and before that, the university was in the same town that I lived in. But thank you for that clarification. I'm not sure then what could be used for that. Oh, you know what? I am, actually. Instead of using like a hot plate or an electric wax burner, you could use room sprays. Leonora knew a shop that sold cleansing sprays. Yep, we are on the same wavelength there. You can definitely use cleansing sprays. I don't think there are any rules against a cleansing spray. The only thing that I would say is if, make sure it doesn't smell too strongly. You don't want it to smell too strong and, irritate your roommate or irritate everyone else around you. I'm sorry, just a second. My daughter is knocking at the door. Yes?
Take a break. I'm done with my math.
That's fine. Go on.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. She's doing her online school right now, and she wanted to take a break, so that's fine. I don't care. Let's see. Where was I? Room sprays. Yeah. Okay. So if you can't use candles or you can't use heat of any kind, room sprays are totally fine too. And then with a room spray, you can draw pretty designs on the bottle and make sigils, and then charge your room spray with whatever you want to charge it with. Either you can use the moon or you can charm it with your own energy, and then no one's going to look twice because it's a really pretty decorated bottle, but it serves a purpose in your spell work. Next tip is, okay, so I talked about prayer vaguely. I don't know if my tip on prayer made any sense to anyone. But the next tip that I have is meditation. Meditation isn't necessarily tied into spell work in all respects, but I think that meditation is a key component of several things that can play a part in your witchcraft in your spell work, because witchcraft requires focus. Witchcraft requires discipline. Witchcraft requires work. And if you cannot get to a point where you are comfortable, not necessarily clearing your mind, because I'm not even capable of doing that, because that's just the way my brain works. But once you get to a point where you can be disciplined and you can maintain focus on whatever you're trying to do, then your spell work is going to be more effective and more successful. And one of the key ways to maintain or gain that focus and discipline is through meditation. So keeping a regular meditation practice is a great way to sort of be a sneaky witch and keep yourself in the broom closet while still gaining skills that will help you in your witchcraft practice. And if someone asks you, why are you meditating? Meditation actually has a bunch of different health benefits besides benefiting your witchcraft. And I actually talked about that in a different video or different podcast episode. But meditation, there are some studies that show meditation can significantly reduce stress, some mental illness, high blood pressure, different things like that. So that's a perfect thing to do, because you can do it for your witchcraft, but then you can turn around and say that you're doing it for your health. I feel like I need to mention here, as a mom, that I don't want anybody to lie to their parents. Like, I realize that I'm talking about practicing witchcraft in secret or being sneaky about it because you're in the broom closet, but I don't want to come off sounding hypocritical, right? I know there are times when you need to keep your practice a secret, but as a mom, I also know that I would be devastated if my daughter felt like she had to lie to me about something that she was doing. I also know that I'm not like all parents, so I guess I will just go through this and say, you know your situation better than I do. I'm not going to tell you what to do or what not to do, but I will tell you that if you can avoid it at all costs, be honest with your parents or your guardians or your grown-ups if you're, obviously this applies to minors. Anyway, a little bit of an aside, because I have to, because I'm a mom. The next tip that I have here is energy work. This plays into the concept of meditation, because you can do energy work and look like you're meditating. And energy work is vital to witchcraft, in my opinion. Completely vital. A lot of people say that when doing witchcraft and casting spells, your intention is all that matters. You don't need tools, you don't need candles and incense and your altar and all of that stuff. But intention isn't everything, because spell work and magic is literally the manipulation of energy to achieve a goal. You change the energy, you send the energy out to do whatever you want. Your intention isn't always enough. So working with energy and learning how to sense energy and move it and manipulate it is very important. And it's something that you can do in the shower. You can do it while you're laying in bed. You can do it while you're meditating. There are so many different ways that you can do energy work. And in doing energy work and getting better at it, that opens your spell work up to so many different options. Because once you have that basic foundational layer of witchcraft, then you can do so many new things. You can easily make amulets and charms and talismans and, wards and the just like making a wish and blowing out a candle. Energy work will also open you up to the other beings around you, the spirits of the land. And this is especially important if you work with gods and goddesses or other higher beings. If you don't have a foundation in energy work, you might not even know that they are around you. Their energy is different, and you would be able to sense it, essentially. So energy work is a great thing to do, no matter if you're in the broom closet or not, because you have so many different options, and it's really easy to do when you're laying in bed at night and before you fall asleep, right? Even if you have someone in bed next to you, you don't have to move to do energy work. Not typically. So energy work is a vital piece of practicing witchcraft, but it's also something that most everybody can do, whether they're in the broom closet or not. Let's see. I need some water. The next tip that I have for those practicing witchcraft in the closet is to just consume all of the content that you have at your disposal. There are so many... Oh man. Leonora said that when doing energy work, if you're laying in bed next to someone, you might wake up the person next to you when you get good at doing energy work. That's very true. And for me, it alerts me, okay, so this is kind of an aside. If I'm laying in bed and like my back is to the door or something, if I'm not entirely asleep yet, I can feel when someone walks into the room. Okay, now this used to freak my boyfriend out a long time ago, because I'd be laying in bed and I'd lay there and he would be like in the living room or whatever. And then he would walk into the bedroom and he's very quiet. He doesn't make a lot of noise when he walks, but he'd walk into the bedroom and I think he made a game out of it, because he'd walk into the room and like stop and see how long it took for me to sit up, because I could feel that someone came into the room. And the same thing even happens now. I guess it's completely irrelevant to the topic of secret witchcraft, but I guess it just goes to show you what energy work can do once you are open to sensing the energy around you. Yeah. Leonora said that it's like the child stare. They're looking at you, so you wake up. Yes. And let me tell you, rolling over and opening my eyes to a 3 or 4-year-old just like inches from my face is scary and creepy. Like, I know that she's there, but I open my eyes and then she's there. She hasn't done it in a long time. She's 7 now, but it's like the same thing. That's a really good comparison. So, okay, I was talking about consuming content. There are so many books and podcasts and YouTube videos and blogs, and there's all kinds of free content at your disposal. Now, I don't know if someone monitors your internet usage or anything like that. If so, then this might not completely apply to you, but you can always just read until you can get to a point where you can practice more openly. There's nothing wrong with consuming the material that you have at your disposal. Read the books, watch the videos, listen to the podcasts. I constantly do that anyway, and I'm a firm believer that witchcraft is a journey. There is no destination, and we are always learning. There's always something new to learn, different concepts to learn and maybe understand further. So even if you can't actively practice your witchcraft, then you can still read books, gain knowledge, keep a journal, and just keep learning. Just keep learning. So, tip number 9 that I have goes along with tip number 10. So tip number 9 is to get creative. I read a book recently by Althea Sebastiani by Prick of Thorn and Rust of Nail, I think it's called. I'll try to remember to leave a link in the description and in the show notes if you want to read it. It's about effective warding of your home, effective home warding. And even though I have a pretty solid foundation in warding my home, there was still something in that book that struck me, like, why did I never think of that? And if you follow me on Twitter, you probably already know what I'm talking about. But in the book, there's a section on using sigils as wards, and she talks about taking some masking tape, writing your sigil on the masking tape and cutting it into pieces and putting it on the top of a ceiling fan. And then when the ceiling fan is spinning, that motion and that energy is charging your sigil and making it work. And I don't know why I never thought of that. But that, to me, is a great example of getting creative with what you have at your disposal. You can use sigils, when you're getting out of the shower. If your mirror is steamy, draw a sigil on the shower or on the mirror, and then as the steam dissipates, it set forth the intention and the energy that as the steam dissipates, you are charging and releasing your sigil to do what you want it to do. The same thing goes with tracing sigils with water. So instead of using ink, like I did in my last video where I created an ink for the sigils that I use, just use water. Especially if you're just doing it on like carpet or the walls. As long as it's not something that water is going to ruin, it's going to dry and no one's going to know that it's there. And then the next tip that I have is to experiment within your means. And what I mean by experiment within your means is that experiment within your skill level. If you're a beginner or you are a new witch or you're not comfortable with summoning different spirits or beings or anything like that, then obviously don't try to create a servitor or like a golem. Is golem the right word? I don't know if golem is the right word. I know servitor is one thing. But experiment with ways that you can practice your witchcraft in secret. Can you quickly and effectively charm a necklace? Can you quickly and effectively activate wards in your home? Sit in your home and practice your energy work and feel out your wards. Are they still working? Are they still up? Do they need to be recharged? Think of however many places you can put a sigil. If you can't tell, I really like sigils. Where can you put a sigil? Get creative. I mean, I never would have thought that putting a sigil on the tops of the ceiling fan blades was even a thing. Like, obviously it is, but it's not something I ever would have thought of. So I think it's important that you open your mind and let yourself be creative. Don't let yourself be limited within a little box, right? Think outside the box when it comes to practicing your magic and your witchcraft, and experiment. If, say you want to charm a necklace. Last time, my daughter had to go on a flight several weeks ago with my parents, and I've been charming jewelry without tools, simply with energy work and intention for a really long time. And I was able to quickly and effectively charm a necklace for her to wear while she was on the flight. So, I mean, this can work for anything, even if you don't wear jewelry. You can charm a pen. Do you have a favorite pen that you like to use when you write notes? Charm your pen, or a pencil, or your computer mouse, or your pillow for better sleep, or, your makeup brushes. There is no limit to your magic, to your spell work, and how you can do it without other people knowing. So, I think that's all I've got in me today. It's been a weird couple of weeks. It's going to just keep getting weirder until we're back home. And I hope these tips are helpful. I hope it wasn't too rambly. I hope it made sense. If it didn't make sense, please let me know in the comments below if you're watching this later. For podcast listeners, you know where to find me: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, my website, email. All of those links are in the show notes. And yeah. So I think I'm going to have a little bit of a bonus section today. So if you're going to stick around for the bonus section, I'll talk to you in a minute. Otherwise, I will see you next time. For those watching on YouTube and podcast listeners, I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's episode of Round the Cauldron, and I will see you back next time. Bye for now. Oh my goodness. So hello everyone that is in the live chat. Sorry about the funkiness that was going on at the beginning. I mean, YouTube just kept kicking me off and saying that the connection timed out, and then it told me live streaming wasn't available, but I fixed it. So we're here. Hello. I don't know what I'm going to talk about in the bonus section, but thank you for being here. It's been strange. So how is everyone? Is everyone doing all right? This is your reminder that if you're watching live, to hit the thumbs up button. If you're watching later, make sure you hit the thumbs up button too and subscribe to my channel. I will be holding another giveaway once I hit 1,000 subscribers. And I'm less than 200 subscribers away from that. So if you watch my videos, but you're not subscribed, why? Hit the subscribe button. I think I already went through all of the chat. Let's see. Say hello to everybody specifically. Hi, Dendrain, Leonora. Hi, Hillary. Hi, Crystal. Leonora said it's sweet they're investigative, or they're thinking about how to kill you. I don't know. Oh, because of the cat. My cat does. Ugh. Cats are weird. I love my cat to death, but she gets strange sometimes. We're gonna have a house guest here pretty soon. So after we get back from flying home, we are gonna turn around and drive to Maryland to pick up a friend and then drive back. So that's new. I don't have anything else new. So I guess I will talk to you all later. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for watching live. And I will talk to you not next week, but the week after. Don't forget, if you want to help decide on the topics that we talk about, you can join me for as little as $1 a month on Patreon at patreon.com/roundthecauldron and take part in the polls where you get to decide what I talk about. So I will talk to you all soon. Bye for now.